Welcome back to the channel, everybody, for another ESO build video. I'm your boy Fuzzy. Today I'm going to be showing you two builds for the Gankplar, one for IC and BGs and the other one for Cyrodiil. Both work really well. The Cyrodiil one works in both also for the Flames of Ambition patch. But before I get into the builds, if you like the content on this channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and push that notification bell to get the latest content from this channel. Now let's get into it. So let me start off by saying I love this patch. No proc Cyrodiil is amazing, how they separated everything, no procs, but the problem I have is the performance of the servers, the latency, the lag. I mean, it's extremely bad. You can't pull stuff out of your banker. It takes 10 minutes to get stuff out. I get 4 blue screens a day. Now, I don't have the best internet ever, but I've also talked to people that are running on really good internet right now, and they're having the same issues. So I know it's not just me. I can play other games just fine, have no problems. But besides that, I won't go too much into detail about it, but I'm sure a bunch of you have experienced the same thing, and it just hinders the performance of the build and really limits the potential of showing and getting clips for the builds. But regardless, this build is a lot of fun. It hits really hard. It's not the easiest to play though. Gankplar has been sort of nerfed into the ground this patch, like extremely bad. Over the years it's been nerfed again, but now it's pretty bad, so our dark flares don't hit as hard as they used to by any means. But having said that, it performed pretty well in BGs and in Cyrodiil. I wouldn't recommend actually going into IC because how stealth works, you just get pulled out by ads and everything, so just be careful going into there. People can pull you out of stealth. There's some sets that pull you out of stealth. Champion points, certain things in there, they can detect you at a farther radius, so you just got to be really careful where you're playing at and how you go about it. But for the most part, this thing is quite a bit of fun still. I'm working on another way of playing the Gankplar too, besides the Dark Flare version, but I haven't fully tested it out yet. For right now, this one is the one that I'm using, and I think y'all like it too, but that's enough talk. We'll hop into the build right now. Alright, here we are. Let's go into the character sheet real quick. So we're sitting at 34k max magicka, 1253, recovery goes up to 1500. Everything else is pretty low. I am a dark elf on this build. You can go with whatever race you would like. Preferably go with dark elf though, in my opinion, for the max magicka, stamina, and then the spell and weapon damage. Our fully buffed up spell damage goes to 6500 actually with all the buffs. You can push it to 7k, a little over 7k, 71, 72, something like that if you want to use one of the vampire skills. We have 40% crit on this. It's just enough crit, but it doesn't crit all the time. I have another build I'll be working on that doesn't use crit. Our resistances are really low. We're stacking everything into damage on the build and in the CP. We have 64 points into magicka. I'm using the lever for the penetration. This puts us at 19,000 pen, as you see right there. We're not able to use purifying light or any of that stuff. I mean, you can, but it just takes the element of surprise since we're a Gankplar and running in stealth, and we're vamp. So you're going to be super squishy. We're using Clockwork Citrus Fillet. You don't have to use this. You can use Beaded Sugar Skulls if you want, but I just want a little bit of extra added recovery just in case when I get hit by people when I'm out of stealth. We are stage 2 vampire. Make sure you're stage 2, so when you come out of stealth, you'll do a lot of damage. Gives you like 300 something more damage. Now we'll go into our inventory. So for slottables, like I said, you can use Bewitch Sugar Skulls too if you want. We're using Essence of Spell Power. If you don't want to use this, you don't have to. You'll still have enough damage, but I wanted to push the damage to the highest potential that we could get. So you can use try Restoration Potions. Completely up to you, but preferably I'd go with the Spell Pots if I were you. Then for our first up, our set is going to be Spinner's Greatsword. This is going to increase our overall damage. Gives us 300 more damage than it would with a staff. So we're going to go with this with Sharpened. Allows us to run Sharpened on it. And then if you want, you can go Nernhone, but preferably I go Sharpen with more penetration. We have a Berserker Enchant for the weapon damage just in case if somebody gets up close. This won't proc unless you hit him with your sword. Then we have Spinner's Restoration Staff, defending magic damage and restores magicka. On the back bar, you can go for health if you'd like. It's completely optional too. Then we have Zons to increase our crit up to that 40% impenetrable max magicka. Then our second set is going to be Julianus. This Divines, you want Divines pretty much on everything. This adds max magicka we have on here, and then we have spell crit, max magicka spell crit, and then 296 spell damage. Then we have Valken Scoria just to increase the penetration a little bit more. You can take this off and put on a crit shoulder or a damage shoulder, Valorgs, whatever you want. It's completely optional. We have Divines, Juliana's Sash, Max Magica, Divines, Juliana's pretty much on the rest of the stuff, the shoes, the legs, and the feet. All Divines, all Max Magic and Chance. We have 1 heavy, 6 light. You can go all light if you want. Then we have Spinner's Jewelry, all right here. And we have all infused with all spell damage on here. Alright, for our second build, this is for the BGs and IC build. I also have this build, this is just an updated part for it, but this works outside of Cyrodiil, and the other one actually works too, but this one hits pretty hard. First set's going to be War Maiden, Sharpened, Berserker Enchant. Just I have Berserker on these because I use them for other builds. Then we have War Maiden's Restoration Staff, Precise Weapon Damage Enchantment. This way you can hit your heavy attacks on your back bar, get resources back if you're out in the open. Then we have Zon still, Impenetrable Max Magica. New Moon Acolyte's going to be our second set, all Divines. This one's a heavy, 6 light, 1 heavy. Then we have Valken Scoria and Impenetrable Max Magica. Preferably you can go Divines on those. And then War Maiden's Sash, Divines, Max Magica. And then the last 3 for the hands, legs, and feet are going to be all Divines, New Moon Acolyte, Max Magicas. And then we have 2 New Moon rings, or 2 New Moon necklace and ring. We have spell damage infused, and then War Maiden's infused. You can set this up however you want, it doesn't really matter. Just this gives us max damage. So if we go into the character sheet, unbuffed, we're at 4705 plus the 600. When we're fully buffed up, we go up to 7.2, not 7.2, 7.3 for all of our buffs. We still have 17,000 penetration, which is really nice, only 2k less than with the spinners. And this thing hits really hard. We obviously have less resources than the other build, but you can still hit extremely hard. We have good penetration and all around good stats for our damage wise. Now let's go into our skills. So first up is Aurora Javelin. This is going to stun your opponent, does direct damage, ignores their resistances. And then we have Inner Light to increase our crit and our Magicka, which is really nice. Then we have Purifying Light. You can switch this out as a flex spot. You can put whatever you want here. Doesn't really matter. You can put jabs, all that. It's completely up to you. I just have this for sometimes when I'm out of stealth and I hit people. You can put this on them. It's going to copy the damage. It only does like 19,000. It's not the strongest ability ever. Then we have Dark Flare. This is our main spammable, which we're going to hit 1 to 2 to 3 depending on how tanky the target is. We're going to start off with this and then hit them with Aurora Javelin, and then hopefully they'll be close to nuke down and we'll hit them and finish them off with Radiant Oppression. Radiant Oppression will be your execute. Does quite a bit of damage. 1050 or 10,563 magic damage, which is not fully buffed tooltip right now. It does 80% more damage to enemies below 50%, so this nukes them down. Then we got Soul Salt to finish them off. This actually the full tooltip goes to like 102k, so with this one, which hits really hard and finishes people off. Back bar, we got Channeled Focus. This is just going to give us our rune, increase our resistances. And then we have an Extended Ritual. This is going to cleanse ourselves, give us a little bit of heals back. And then we have our main heal, Honor the Dead. You don't have a whole bunch of magic to spam this, so use it wisely. Then we have Channeled Acceleration. You're going to pop this before you gank people. This is going to give us our Major Expedition and give us our Minor Force, which will increase our critical damage by 10%. And then we have Elusive Mist to get out of sticky situations. This can cost you a little bit, but it's not too bad. This is also to get out of bad situations, get away from opponents. And then we have Temporal Guard just for protection on the back bar where we're trying to stay alive if you get caught out in the open. Now, I also actually meant to mention, in order to get the 9k, if you really want the 9k spell damage, then you'll put on Simmering Frenzy. And Simmering Frenzy will boost you up to 8600, and then plus you get continuous attack and all the other stuff. It will fully buff you out to about 9k spell damage, which can absolutely annihilate people, and especially your tankier people up to 30k health targets. But you'll be extremely squishy and vulnerable, and in this patch, because we have no resistances or anything else, you will be killed immediately if anyone sees you. Now, go into our champion points. So the champion tree, we have this set up. I have 40 into Eldritch Insight. We have 10 in just for the healing. Increase your healing taken by 1%. Really doesn't matter, but you can take that out, move them around. Main ones we want is Precision to increase our critical chance rating. We have 40 into there. Then we want Fighting Finesse, increase your critical damage and critical healing done by 2%. Then we have Backstabber, increase your critical damage by 3% per stage against enemies you're flanking. Then we have 90 points into here. We have 40 into piercing, which is fully maxed out to help that penetration. This one we just have points into here to unlock this passive right here for War Mage. So you can only put 20 in here because we're really not proccing anything off our staffs and all that stuff and our magical status effects. We're just trying to kill them. But you can put full points into here if you have the points. This is going to give us an extra 100 spell damage with our magical attacks, which everything we're doing is magical attacks. Then we have Deadly Aim, and this is going to increase our single target damage by 10%. Apologize for the noise outside. And then we have Untamed Aggression, which is going to increase our weapon and spell damage by another 150. So overall, we have Fighting Finesse, Deadly Aim, Backstabber, and Untamed Aggression. Now let's go into our red tree. We have 45 into Tumbling, just so we can get out of sticky situations and helps us reduce the cost of the stamina. We have 40 into Mystic Tenacity. You don't really need that much in there if you don't want to. I just had extra points, so I left them in there. Then we have Hero's Vigor. It's going to increase our health by 1120, so I have 40 points into there. Then we have Reduce the cost of sprint by 20 per stage for your stamina. I have 10 more points, so I might as well put them in there. And then we have right here is going to be our Defiance. Reduce the cost of your break free by 10. 110 stamina per stage, so we have 444. Then the main one you want is Juggernaut. So while we're affected by crowd control and all that stuff and immunities, we take less damage, 10% less damage. So when you get CC, stun, dizzy swing, any of that stuff hits you, off balance, all that stuff, you'll take 10% less damage. It's a must-have. We have Rejuvenation, increase our recoveries, which we need. Ironclad. This doesn't really matter because, I mean, you can put this, I have this on there just to help out a little bit, but our resistances are so low, it really doesn't matter. And then Boundless Vitality, increase our max health, which you want. Now for our green tree, this is pretty much personal preference, but I mean, it's up to you. But the main things you do want is Fleet Phantom, reduce your movement speed, penalty of sneak by 5% per stage, which is important because we're going to be running in stealth a lot. Reduce your radius out of sight, reduce your radius that you can be detected while sneaking by 1 meter per stage, so 3 meters extra, so it's harder for people to pull you out of stealth and see you. Reduce your fall damage, you can put some into there, and Steadfast Enchantment to decrease the enchantment cooldowns, or the rate that you have to actually charge your weapons. And then Rationeer gives you 30 minutes on your food. Then we have Liquid Efficiency, chance to not use a potion, gives you like 10% chance. We have Steed's Blessing, increase our out of movement combat speed, which is really not a big deal because we're going to be in stealth a lot. And then Sustaining Shadows. This is important, reduce the cost of your sneak by 1% per stage. So 50% cost reduction on your sneak, which is really nice. So the 4 that we have, we're going to be using is Rationeer, Liquid Efficiency, Steed's Blessing, and Sustaining Shadows. That's pretty much it for the build. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. If I missed anything, just let me know down in the comment sections down below. I appreciate it all stopping by and checking out the video, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I hope you all have a good day.